Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Connor here. I haven't got the green screen up because I'm too depressed. Welcome back to another One Leeds edition here. We're back. There's 177 of you in the building. If you wouldn't mind slapping a like on the video, hopefully it's not going to get too dark outside. so it's reflected on the stream and all this sort of stuff. But listen, I'm waffling. We're here for your Leeds United. I was going to say debrief here, but it's a little bit more serious than that. It feels like there's an end of an era at the minute. It feels like there's a change of guard. It feels like there is an understanding of what needs to change and what needs to change ridiculously quickly. Lots has come out after the game. We're going to get onto the game in a little bit, but I feel it's a little bit inconsequential at the minute, the game in comparison. And that I don't mean that literally, because the game has massive implications, especially with today. Now it looks like we're out of the relegation zone on technicalities, really. Burnley have still got so many games in hand on us. I think Everton have still got 2 games in hand on us as well, it's huge. A lot of people say points on the board means something, but games in hand when it comes to this stage of the season, 12 games left, are also really big as well. The hope is that we drag Brentford into it. Those guys obviously losing today. Everton have got Manchester City in a short space of time, the next sort of 10, 15 minutes. So we'll be keeping an eye on that one. But overall, it was another dismal display from Leeds United. The basics that we've gone on about on One Leeds for a while now, if you guys follow, there's no point in me rehashing the same things really and going into detail on the problems. We all know it. I'm sure the manager knows it. I'm sure the board know it. The fans certainly do, as I've just alluded to. But Leeds are in a crisis mode right now. And for everybody to think that this is good as it is right now and this can continue as it is right now, stark reality, it's a completely deluded take. There needs to be some shift from the manager. There needs to be some shift from the board. Whatever happens, something needs to happen now. And in my personal, humble opinion, it's happened way too late. This needed to happen earlier. The writing was on the wall. If you guys are part of the One Leeds fan channels, I'm sure you are, you subscribed, I called this a while back. It doesn't mean I know more than anybody, but for me, as a logistical fan who's not getting too caught up in the emotion, it was blatantly obvious before what was going to happen. I looked at Brendan Aronson coming in January and I thought, it's still not enough. It's still not enough. I called it out in December. I turned around and said, Leeds need 5 signings. 5 signings I would like Leeds to sign. Hold on, Connor. I know it was unrealistic. I agree completely. It's unrealistic getting 5 signings in January of high caliber, but I would have at least expected 3 in the predicament that we were in. Even Brendan Aronson, it would have been a boost, but I don't think it would have been enough. Leeds are in a predicament now because of Leeds. This is from where we were, the size of club we are, everything that happened last season to where we are now. The summer was an absolutely cataclysmic era. There was problems from the summer. We were speaking about it on here. I sort of gave it a chance. I said that Leeds were going to finish mid-table, lower mid-table. But overall, you did have that little bit of worry in your head. You did. You thought to yourself, flipping out, this is still a very, very small squad. Very early on, you saw the preseason problems. Leeds were diabolical in preseason. The first games in the season, Crewe Alexandra at home, where Leeds needed to bring the big boys on in the 75th minute to get that one over the line. Leeds 2, Everton 2. A Rafinha wonder strike saving Leeds United. Leeds should have been 4-1 down by the 50th minute. Dominic Calvert-Lewin missing 2 absolute gilt-edged chances. Burnley 1, Leeds United 1. Second best. Manchester United 5, Leeds United 1. More than second best. Woeful. Liverpool 3, Leeds United 0. Leeds absolutely outplayed, expectedly outplayed. But when you look at Burnley, when you look at Everton, when you look at Newcastle, all within that diameter, all within that bracket of the first 6-7 games, when we had a full squad, when we had a team in and around who could compete. Not saying this team can't compete now because that's letting them off the hook, but people are using the Cooper, the Calvin, the Bamford as ready-made excuses, which, hold on, Connor, I completely understand because these are huge players out of our side who are missing. But then you find a solution, you change up your style of play, you put personnel that can be put in this side, that can make a difference, which we all know who those people are. Square pegs, round holes goes out of the window. You change it up, you're freshening it up, So these have been a stark reality. This has been problems from the start of the season. The board needed to take note. Whatever action that was, I don't know. Whether or not that be January, whether or not that be a Bielsa decision earlier on, but they haven't. They've waited until Leeds have got 12 games left of the season, and now there's rumblings about Leeds United replacing Marcelo Bielsa with Jesse Marsch. RB Salzburg manager, we've spoken about him on here before. RB Salzburg manager who brought Brendan Aronson in from Philadelphia Union, the San Francisco 49ers. Are looking to take over Leeds United. Is that the trio? Is that the American staple that is going to be in place going into next season? Jesse Marsch, Brendan Aronson, if Leeds do stay up, and the San Francisco 49ers. There is so much change, in my opinion, that is going to happen at Leeds, but the next steps are absolutely critical to Leeds United's future. Do I think we can get out of this still? It's going to be a tall order. Tall order. If you guys remember, I was getting laughed at on the debrief for suggesting that Burnley and Norwich could catch us. I thought to myself, Burnley always kick on at the back end of the season. Always happens. Burnley have kicked on. They're now third in the form table, picked up another point today. I suggested that when Dean Smith came in, he brought in a more generalised style of play to the sporadic style of play that Daniel Farke brought in, or was playing in the season, and he was ostracizing certain individuals. They could definitely catch us. All these things, they haven't happened as such, but they are very close to happening because of Leeds' form. Injuries are definitely a thing, but you adapt. You have to adapt to the injuries. He hasn't done it. Once again today, what did we see? We saw the exact same things happen again. He changed it in the midfield. I didn't mind what happened in the midfield. But once again, the plan was to get the ball out to Jack Harrison. The plan was for Jack Harrison to cross it into to Christian Romero and Eric Dyer, and for Dan James to somehow compete. Tottenham worked us out so easily and went 2-0 up inside 13 minutes. A Tottenham side, everybody, who couldn't score, who could not break down a Burnley side who have figured out this relegation battle. Are we being too fortuitous in terms of these game plans going into these caliber of fixtures? We're going into relegation battles every single week, and I feel like we're set up for something completely different. That has to change. Leeds United are in stark trouble right now. We are in big trouble. As I've said, not a know-it-all comment, but for me and a lot of very, very sensible fans on this channel, very, very sensible subscribers, we could see this coming a mile off. I get hundreds of DMs over a weekly basis on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Everybody has said that this has been coming. This has been coming for a while now. Caveat. Marcelo Bielsa is the best manager I've seen in my lifetime. Marcelo Bielsa is the best thing that has happened to me in my lifetime because Leeds United are the biggest thing in my life. You can ask my girlfriend, you can ask my mum, you can ask my dad, you can ask anybody in my life. Leeds United, whatever my opinion is, that might differ to yours, or yours. The biggest thing in my life is Leeds United. It might be sad to a lot of people, but it is. It breaks me when they lose. When they win, I'm euphoric. Right now, I'm hurting so much. I hate making these videos. I literally turned around earlier on and said, I do not want to make this video. I don't want to make this video. I just want to chill out, think about something else. But I can't because Leeds keeps me up, consistently. I can't get them out of my head. They are just that important to me. And This guy's brought the good times back. He's brought my connection with the club back. Now, for this guy to be taken away from me, from all of you, from Leeds United, is a scary proposition because we don't know what's on the other side. We don't know what is on the flip side of that coin. We don't know if the grass is going to be greener. But everybody, something simply has to change. You have to put your sentiment to the side. You have to put going to Ellen Road to the side and seeing Marcelo Bielsa in the dugout. You have to put all these emotional responses to the side, because Leeds United could be in a position next year where we are in financial meltdown. All of our best attributes, our best assets are having to be sold on. The youngsters, make no bones about it, because of what's happened this season, the youngsters will want to move if Leeds United go down. Our big players will have to move. Leeds will have to get the right transfer figure for these players. There's relegation clauses in all of the contracts. I can tell you that for a fact. So there is a stark reality at the minute that Leeds United are going to be in a worse position than a lot of these other sides would be if they went down, because Leeds have heavily invested in their squad whilst they've been in the Premier League. This is a disaster, everybody, where we are right now. But we do still have the opportunity to get out of this right now. But something needs to galvanise these players. Something needs to galvanise the fans, because that today was simply embarrassing on all ends front. We couldn't defend, we couldn't attack. And that's the problem. Everybody's talking about conceding goals. Leeds had their moments, but simply we cannot finish it. We cannot be clinical like we were last season. We were outsourcing our XG last season. Leeds would have a certain amount of XG metric that we'd have per game, and we'd exceed that. We were exceeding it. So Leeds were scoring more than they should in games. That is way below this year, and we are conceding a ridiculous amount of goals too simply. We are not plugging the gap. We are not plugging the sink. And this is going to continue happening because our manager, Marcelo Bielsa, has shown that he is not willing to adapt. He is not willing to change system. He is not willing to change philosophy, which I respect ultimately massively, because you get that nowhere in football. Everybody adapts in football. Every manager adapts in football because it's going to cost him his job. This guy is a miracle worker in terms of what he's done for Leeds United, what he's done for the city, what he's done for the culture. But in terms of his principles, he's a dying art in football. No manager is like this man. And that's why everybody loves him. It's not just because of what he does on the pitch. It's what he does off the pitch. It's how he carries himself. I love him. I absolutely love the man. But I love Leeds United more. Leeds United is in my blood. You know, we all bleed blue, yellow, and white. And we will be here long after Marcelo's gone. So you've got to ask yourself the question, why do you want Marcelo Bielsa in the job right now? Do you thoroughly believe he's going to turn it around? Is that what you actually think he's going to turn it around? Or are you basing it on sentiment? You've got to ask yourself this question. Are you basing it on what's happened? Because what's happened has happened. That's it. That's done. That's gone. That's happened, as we've just spoken about. Leeds need to move on. We need to see what's happening in the future. Can Marcelo Bielsa resurrect this side who, for me, are not playing for him at the minute? They might be putting the hard yards in, but they're losing individual battles. They don't look like they're sticking to any sort of plan. And if they are sticking to a plan, they're not winning their individual duels at all, which means that the plan is completely thrown up in the air. It doesn't matter. It's inconsequential. And would someone else be able to come in and light a fire? Say to some of these players, you're not getting in the squad if you don't perform. Joe Gelhardt, you're starting every single week. Give the fans a little bit of a lift. There's so many outcomes here that could happen with this, and it is a massive week for Leeds United. There's 243 comments that have come in. Evening Connor, will he stay or will he go? It's a massive question. I'm not 100% sure, to be quite honest with you. I think this could be the end of Marcelo's tenure. I really do. I think it's ultimately gone too far. I have no idea what the board are going to do in terms of. I don't know how they justify it. I don't know how they're going to turn around and say, look, we'll go into Leicester and it'll happen. What if we go into Leicester again and we get torched? You know, we get absolutely torched again. The same things are happening. And the reason I say that, guys, is because I didn't expect what happened today. I really didn't. You know, I didn't expect Leeds United to go into this game and just get absolutely blitzed. I didn't expect that. I actually predicted a win. Now, listen, a lot of you will turn around and say, well, you know, a win was a little bit unlikely, but fair enough. You know, Leeds lose 2-1, 3-1, respectable. We then go into Leicester with maybe a little bit of vigor, a bad performance, but a little bit of vigor. Not after this. This was an absolute pepper and it was a breakdown. Tottenham had 11 shots, everybody, on target. On target. Leeds completely, we had our chances, didn't we? We hit the bar a couple of times. Dallas was thrown goal, but that Dallas chance sums everything up at the minute. No confidence, having to, needing 40 touches before he gets to goal to have a shot. That sums up the confidence. Stuart Dallas last year got that out of his feet and had a strike. There is so many issues at Leeds United right now. It is terrifying. It really is. Connor, what is your position? Do you want Bielsa out? It's a really tough question. But I've skirted on that's not the right term really. I have been on the fence for too long because I have respect for the man. Ultimately, you'll still get people calling me out and saying I don't have respect. I'm this, I'm that, because I dare to question some of the tactics on the pitch and what, in my opinion, as a fan, as a paying customer, I think could be improved on, because you can't question the guy. And that is, it's ridiculous that you can't question someone at all. Listen, I've come out and questioned a lot of what he's done, in my opinion, in the last couple of 6 months. It's been appalling, some of the decisions he's made. So in my humble opinion, I can't flip-flop. I'll be brutally honest with you. If there was a change now, I wouldn't mind it. But then the problem is, and everybody who agrees with me there, everybody who disagrees with me there, fair enough, that's your opinion. No, never be hostile to someone because of their opinion. It's a disgrace. And it essentially means that you're bordering on idiocy, really, because, you can't accept an opinion. You can't have a subjective conversation. You can't have a debate. You can't be friends if one person's got an opinion and you've got an ulterior opinion. You've not got a motive, you've got an opinion. So in my opinion, I think we have to move on, because in my opinion, we move on in the summer anyway. That's hands down. That is something I've said, that we need to move on in the summer, whatever happens, because this can't go on. This small squad, the amount of injuries we have, which I do think are extrinsically linked to the training, and everything else, murder ball 3 times a week and the players consistently breaking down. And, the man marking system, I think, is just not working anymore. I think the players have fallen out of love with it. And I think the players ultimately, in my opinion, my humble opinion, what I'm seeing at the minute, may have fallen out of love with Marcelo Bielsa and his ways of doing things. When you do this for 4 years and you're expecting the players to keep up that productivity in that 4 years, then you're asking a lot. No manager does that. No manager does it. It's impossible to play at this intensity week in, week out for 4 years and expect the same results. It's madness. So if you're asking me right now, I hate saying what Bielsa out, because I'm not. I hate that. I've told you before, it is very Wengerish. I'm not Bielsa out. He's given me so many good memories. I love the guy. I will always love the guy. But ultimately, I'm a Leeds United fan. Leeds United is in my blood, and I want my club to succeed. And I see this as an absolute pathway to the Championship at the minute. Nothing is changing. If I'd see something which would make me think, oh, there's a bit of change there, there's a little bit of a switch, like we did last season, but there isn't. There is no switch. Nothing's happening. Nothing's changing. We're getting battered week in, week out. We've conceded 20 goals in a month. 20 goals in a month. That's more goals. I think it's equal to the same amount of goals that Wolves have conceded all season. When you see the problem, you try solve the problem when you're on his salary per year, with the greatest of respect. And I understand that he is trying to do that, but whatever he's doing isn't working. Sticking to this philosophy, sticking to this ethos, which I absolutely love, which has got us to where we are, everybody. But when we're in this perilous position, something has to give, and it's not giving. It's the same thing week in, week out. Joffrey didn't even get on the pitch today. We can't score a goal. We get the ball out wide and launch it in. We try build through the central space to the attacker. Our best striker doesn't even get on the pitch. We don't rectify it in January. And I fully believe the board are completely at fault for letting it get to this stage. But I thoroughly believe that Marcelo Bielsa is turning around and saying, I don't want this player, I don't want that player. We saw the evidence of it in the Amazon documentary, even, 2-3 years ago. I thoroughly believe that, and the noise is coming out of the club. Bielsa doesn't want a big squad, and January's killed us. It's absolutely killed us. What are your thoughts on Fonseca? Danny's in the building. Connor, it's an opinion that stands up based on the season's terrible forms, his stubbornness and a lack of depth. The players are tired and needed help in January. They do. They need help, mate. They need serious help now. It's getting perilous. And people don't seem to understand. I still see stuff online saying Leeds are going to be a yo-yo club. You're in cuckoo land. You know, you look at any sort of wage structure that these players are on, our big players are on. You look at the youth development system at the minute, the big players we've got in there who haven't been playing, where big clubs have been looking at these youngsters. Allegedly, Arsenal are looking at Joffrey. Man United are always inquiring, apparently. You have to say apparently, because then if people come on this channel, I'm directly linking, Charlie Cresswell to Man United. But apparently Man United are always sniffing around Charlie Cresswell. Lewis Bate will have a whole host of clubs looking at him. Bearing in mind, we had to beat 15 clubs off to get Lewis Bate. So all of these things will frustrate Victor Orta as well, because Victor Orta's going out there, putting the PowerPoint presentations together and trying to get them to the club. But these kids aren't even playing. They're not even playing. It's all well and good saying, he's giving them the debut. They're not even playing. They're not playing for the 23s. They're not playing for the first team. When's the last time Lewis Bate has kicked a ball in a professional game? And he's good enough. We all know he's good enough. We've seen it. We've literally seen it. We've seen it in the first team. We've seen it in the 23s. But he's unwilling to freshen it up. It won't happen. Fans would have a boost even if you freshen it up and we lost, and we might even get different results. Who knows? Who knows what they can bring to the table? But the players are tired. It's the same players every single week. Square peg, round hole every single week to get his players who have got him into this position, which I ultimately respect, massively respect. But it's not going to do anything for the club at the minute. The club are staring the Championship in the face. There's still people saying calm down when it comes to when is it going to happen? We get battered by a team that's below us in Aston Villa. Newcastle get the first away win of the season. They conceded 46 goals and Leeds plugged the gap on that because we couldn't offensively get forward. We couldn't break them down offensively. It's all well and good. I've said this on previous videos. Everyone's sitting around saying, we battered Newcastle. We should have beaten Newcastle. Newcastle still had 15 shots on our goal. It wasn't a complete mauling. Reality check. So these are teams in and around us, everybody. In and around us. It's not just your Man Uniteds, not just your Liverpools. These are Everton, Newcastle, who he's not been able to find a resolution against. I understand right now people are worried. People are worried because they don't know what's on the other side. But that other side is going to have to come at some point. And you're still seeing Leeds fans come on and saying, I'd be all right if Bielsa took us to the Championship. What mentality is that? Where are our expectations? I respect everybody's opinions, but really, is that where we are? Maybe we need to alter what mindset we're in. I guess I need to alter my mindset, But there are so many things to consider here, so many things that I completely get the fact that the other side might not be instantaneously better, I get that. And that is the worry. And that's because the board have left it too late. They've left it way too late because if someone does come in, they've got 12 games to turn a fan base around and turn a club around. That's the worry, it really is. But ultimately, overall, the Leeds need to change 100% right now. It's stale. It is completely stale. The opposition don't fear Leeds anymore. That is a big thing. Take even the 3 players out. Bring the 3 players back in who were there at the start of the season, right? The players that were there at the start of the season, the 3 players that were there, right? We still had a shocking pre-season, an awful pre-season where Leeds looked completely unprepared. None of us expected it. Remember the games. Remember the game. Villarreal stuck out even if it was 2-2. It was shocking. Then we got into the season. That carried on, a mauling at our rivals who have been poor throughout the season, even if they are 4th. Points have been taken off them by so many clubs, including Watford today. Liverpool, not even a resilience, just mauled, should have been 10. Burnley, battered. Leeds were battered. Leeds were by far the secondary team in that contest. Everton, I've said it before, secondary contest. Newcastle, game of 2 halves. Newcastle were the better team in the second half. Leeds have been bad, even with the good players in there, right? Would we be in a better position with these good players in there? I think ultimately we would, but it's not as stark as everybody's making out. Leeds, I don't know if Leeds would be 14th, 15th, 13th, whatever it may be. We might be a couple of points better off, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it would be as huge a gap as people are saying, to be quite honest with you. It's that bad at the minute. It's that bad. Just going to read some of you guys' comments out. Apologies, it's been a bit of a passionate one. Make sure you're liking the video as well. A positive might be Positive might be change as well, 100%. Missed 2 sitters, hit the post twice, at least 1 clear penalty turned down. Bielsa's fault. The players are not good enough. As long as we won't go down, it's been a successful season. Scott, I agree, mate. I completely agree that these are on the players. And this is what I want to give. I don't want this to be too biased on this channel. You know, people just call you out and say, oh, negative. But I try to bring bias to this channel. I really do. I completely get what you're saying. And the players are culpable. As I've said, the board are culpable. This is not just Bielsa. This is an overall muck-up by Leeds United. It is not just the manager. I want to make that abundantly clear. What I'm trying to say is going forward, a different strategy is essential for these players because they've reached the end. They've reached the end. And you can't ultimately tell me that even going into next year, Bielsa is going to bin 6 off and bring 8 in. It won't happen. We've never seen it under Marcelo Bielsa. It'll be 2 out and 2 in. And the favourites will still stick around. They will still stick around. Forshaw will be given a new contract, which, fair enough, I think he's deserved it. Roberts will still be around. Click will still be around. Alien will still be around. Cooper will still be around. Okay? These players will still be around, and Leeds cannot evolve. We cannot take that next step. You stand still in the Premier League, you go down. That's ultimately it. And I genuinely do not believe that Leeds will move forward in terms of transfers, in terms of a different playing philosophy. I don't think this will happen under this manager. And that is the big problem. It's how do Leeds evolve? How do Leeds get to that next step with the manager in charge who's done a wonderful job so far? The players at the minute, I will admit, are shocking. You know, there's so many problems at this club. But I wonder if a new manager was to come in, would he put a rocket up there? Okay, you're not starting. There is competition now. The favourites aren't getting in. That's the problem. You're getting the 23s who are going to be knocking on the door saying, look, Mr. Whoever, we are competitive, and they'll be showing it in training a little bit more. They'll have a little bit more vigor in training, a little bit more enthusiasm in training because things become stale when it's in a cycle. When it's happened for 4, 5, 6 years, people get comfortable. A new man would, in my opinion, potentially come in and have new ideas. And that is not a comfortable position for players to be in because they don't know their position. They don't know their position going into the summer, which isn't a good place for an individual to be in. They need to prove themselves. Hence why in the Premier League, there is always a new manager bounce. Now, would a new manager bounce keep Leeds in the division? That's what you've got to look at right now. With the winnable games, you've got to equate to yourself, is Bielsa going to win these winnable games, which have been falling short recently, Everton, Villa, Newcastle? And will a new manager come in and force the players to start proving themselves and playing better, thus getting the results that we need to stay in the Premier League? God, you can tell I'm hyped up today. Donation. Hi, Connor. You say it as it is. Opinions are fine, but people are still saying we will be okay. We've shipped 60 goals. Only Norwich a worse goal difference. Listen, we're the worst team in the division. Stark reality. Leeds are the worst team in the division right now. People seem to not like that, think that. If I'm a Leeds fan, apparently I can't call that out. I don't go to games. I'm plastic because I can't call that out. Leeds United are the worst team in the division right now. No team has shipped this amount of goals in this space of time. The defence is a joke at the minute. There is no midfield. It's too easy. There's no individual battles being won. We can't defend set pieces. And Leeds United have to score 3 goals to win the game, minimum. We're conceding literally 3.6, I think it was, 3.6 goals per game in the Premier League. And involve the teams in and around us in that chat because it's not just the big boys who are doing this now. So you've got to include that. Look at Villa. It was a 20-minute spell where Villa got 3 goals and should have had 5. It can't happen. It can't happen. No matter your philosophy on football, no matter your idea on football, that cannot happen because you will go down. That's it. That is ultimately, you've got to respect the division we're in. It's no Mickey Mouse League, this. It's the best division in the world. You can't be going and playing the top teams in the world and going man for man because goal difference makes a difference. Goal difference is ultimately a point, and we're getting battered every single week and thinking it's acceptable. People also don't seem to understand and not acknowledge that 3 teams go down, everybody. 3 teams. It's not just Norwich. You might turn around and laugh at Norwich for whatever reason, because I think they'll go down as well. But there's 3 teams who go down. So by my reckoning, there's 2 more who need to go down. And right now, Norwich are conceding less than we do. Everyone's talking about Brentford. Don't get me wrong, we could drag them into it. But look at Brentford's last 5 games. They've played they've played, I think it's 5 of the top 6, Brentford. And they've not lost by margins that we've lost at. Not in the same spectrum. I think they've lost to Man United 3-1. That's the biggest margin. Um, God, man, yeah. Guys, listen, oh God, the shadow. I'm watching the game again. It's painful. I don't envy you, mate. We are 100% awful. People denying that we are the worst. It's time for them to give their head a wobble. I'd completely agree. Lee Crisp as well. It's like the final year under Wilkinson. It is. Wilkinson had a shocking year after he won the league. This guy won the league, everybody. He won the first division for Leeds United. Okay, the sentiment attached to this guy was unbelievable. Strachan, McAllister, all the boys, Gary Speed, Lee Chapman, Fairclough, all of these boys, the culture at Leeds United just then was a winning culture. And he was sacked. He was sacked the year afterwards when Leeds had a horrendous season. That's when he won the league. I just think it needs to just be sometimes a little bit of a reality check to where we are. I understand there's two flip sides to the coin. I completely get it. Bielsa, what happens afterwards? Because no doubt what you're going to get is people blaming me. People blaming me because I've said I wanted to change just for my club to go forward. Yeah, I love the man, but I think right now it's time for change, right? I'm going to get people coming at my door and saying, it's your fault Bielsa sacked. It's your fault we are where we are, which is complete waffle. But I'm turning around right now and saying I can understand their perspective in terms of Bielsa staying and getting the results against the teams in and around us, because we've still got teams to play in and around us. But do you genuinely believe that's going to happen? Where are the next 3 points, in your opinion, coming from? I'm looking at a Leeds side today who, don't get me wrong, we've had chances today. We have had chances today. But ultimately, Tottenham were in control. Tottenham were dominant, absolutely dominant in that game. They were almost taking the mick at the end when they were going through on goal and trying to pass it round Melia. It was a joke. If you Conte, you're absolutely fuming after that game that they've not put 6 past us. So again, Leeds have chances, but ultimately, what does that mean? What does that mean? Leeds have chances, okay, and we haven't scored a goal. So that makes it even worse, doesn't it? Man. Right, guys. It's been a bit of a nightmare. There's 981 of you here. I'm being hounded by my girlfriend to go downstairs, so I can't listen. I've got to do something else. I really have got to do something else. In terms of my mindset at the minute. I need to just, I don't know, follow rugby or something. But Leeds are stressing me out no end at the minute. Listen, I apologise. It's been a bit dark. It has been, hasn't it? So listen, I've just come on laptop today and just started speaking to you guys. So please hit the like. Get in the comment section below. Please don't abuse each other, whatever opinion you have. And listen, let's hope for the best result for Leeds United, whatever that may be. If it is Bielsa, I've said videos before, and he adapts, I'm fine with that. I am fine. If we go into the next game in Leicester and there's a different plan, there's a different way of doing things, I'm fine with that. I really am. But ultimately, I don't think that would happen. So I think his time is numbered. I really do. I think his days are numbered. Sorry. Let me know in the comment section below. At least Leeds Rhinos won today. Yeah, but Rhinos are awful at the minute, aren't they? Let me know in the comment section below, guys. Make sure you subscribed. I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.